did he say? What 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 did he say? And if you want to see more, everybody knows if you're going down, do the me.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is the Freedom Truth Radio Show with your host, the one and only Vincent E. Scott. We are live today. It is Wednesday, March. Gee, what is this? March already? My goodness. Where does the time go? It's March 4th already, and we are back with you in the studio, spinning around in the big chair, and we have a smash hit show just for you. This is the Freedom Truth Radio Show, where the truth will make you mad first and then make you free. Now, today is really going to make you mad because I have a very extremely special guest on the line. Is coming on the line in a very few minutes. I'm just going to take a few minutes to read his bio, his extensive bio. And he is a naturopath doctor. You want to tune in, you want to invite your friends, start a watch party, get everybody in on this show, because everything that you thought you knew about health, you are going to find that you don't know. And, you know, as I always say, as a popular quote on this show, you don't know what you don't know. So before you reject information that that's been hidden from you, so to speak, because the mainstream health industry, or the information that is purported by the mainstream health industry, is not there to help you. It's there to keep you sick so that the big pharmaceutical industries can continue to make more money off of you. Healthcare is not healthcare, as the documentarian Michael Moore would say. Healthcare is sick care. Watch a very good documentary on Netflix called Sicko. He exposes the American healthcare industry and how the whole motive is there to keep you strapped, locked in, and addicted to pharmaceutical drugs. Nothing that you take, as a matter of fact, the FDA has ruled that a doctor cannot say anything is a cure unless it's inclusive of being prescribed with a drug. So, you know, if you think that for 1 minute when you go to your doctor and he says that he diagnoses you with high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, whatever have you, and he says that I want you to take this medicine and, you know, see how you do for like the next 6 months, and, you know, we'll check you out again. Don't think that that is a process to get you better or a process to a cure. It's not. It is a process to suppress the symptoms that you currently have, and, of course, awaken some symptoms that are not even there, which in turn causes you to be a drug junkie, so to speak. Because what happens is, if you get more symptoms, he's going to prescribe you something else to get off of that. You've heard the commercials. You know, you take this particular medication and it's going to give you 10 other symptoms other than the one you're trying to get rid of. You know, and the symptoms now are so extreme, it's unbelievable. You know, take this pill for high blood pressure, may cause internal bleeding, may cause your foot to fall off, may cause you to have suicidal thoughts. Who wants to take any of that? And to me, it's purely common sense. But as we all know, common sense is really not that common. Therefore, Dr. James Dail is going to be here with me on the show to talk about these things, because he has made some extreme amounts of progress and headway in medicine and in teaching people how to heal themselves, basically with naturopathic remedies, as well as coaching people in changing their diets or their ways of eating. He prescribes a totally plant-based diet, which I totally support and live by. And every day I'm fine-tuning to get better, because people subscribe to the term vegan now, and that's become very popular and mainstream. As it's become a very trailblazed title or fad, if you will. But there are people who consider themselves to be vegan, but they're not totally plant-based. Because Oreos are vegan, but you can't put an Oreo in the ground and grow an Oreo tree. So therefore, that's not considered plant-based. Plant-based is anything that comes from the earth, yields fruit or yields a harvest, and can be put back into the earth to replenish a further harvest. That's what plant-based is. Plant-based does not have eyes and parents. Plant-based is not a byproduct of anything that has eyes and parents. So if you think you're plant-based and you're still eating, ice cream or macaroni and cheese with, homogenized milk and dairy fat, you're not plant-based. You are a lacto-ovo vegetarian if you eat that and don't eat meat. So I think we're going to learn the definitions of some terminologies when Dr. James Dail comes on. To read his bio very briefly, Dr. James Dail, senior PhD and THD and ND, anointed man of God, accomplished doctor of theology, ministering the Word of God, and doctor of naturopathy, teaching health and healing heaven's way. Trying to bring up his full bio. Okay, here we go. Dr. Dail has been practicing nutrition for more than 22 years. He received his Doctor of Naturopathy certification from Trinity College in Warsaw, Indiana. He became a licensed minister in the gospel in 1998. To further enhance his ministry, he received a master's and a doctorate degree in theology from Breakthrough Bible College, where he currently serves as professor and dean of Christian Health and Healing Academy. After becoming a minister of the gospel in 1998, along with his many years of teaching health, he believes the Spirit prompted him to teach health and healing heaven's way. Dr. Dail consistently places emphasis on the physical body and states, as church leaders, we need to include discussions and teachings on the physical body along with the mind and the spirit, as the physical body is the first echelon member of the body of Christ. Dr. Dail's credentials in the natural health field are numerous. They range from being a certified nutritional consultant, a certified natural health professional, and a registered naturopath from the Council on Naturopathic Registration and Accreditation Incorporated, as well as a colon hydrotherapist. He is board certified by the American Naturopathic Medical Association and is also a member of the American College of Iridology. Education and always keeping abreast in his field are very important to Dr. Dail. He puts in numerous research hours on health and wellness. This knowledge spans over into his many board affiliations, which include the Medical Advisory Board with Novavit Incorporated, Barlow Herbal Incorporated, and For More International Incorporated. He is also a member of the International Anti-Aging Conference. And he has a book. You want to definitely check his book out on Amazon. It's called Tools for Health and Healing God's Way, Truth and Knowledge, Volume 1, Dr. James A. Dail Sr. And if you guys want to go on his website, I'm going to definitely type that in the chat room. It's called healththerightwayinc.com. healththerightwayinc.com. I got to see if he's on the line. He should be calling in any second. He didn't call in the phone, did he, Rube? Okay. Let's see if he's calling in. Okay, I'm just going to continue talking about that because he'll be calling in any second. But as you can see and plainly hear, Dr. James Dail is very prolific in this subject matter, and he knows what he's talking about. Now, I have to admit to you, he's going to make you very mad. And not because he comes across in a controversial fashion. It's just that he states facts that will interrupt your usual habits. And, you know, anytime you're taken out of your comfort zone or given information that will challenge where you are presently, it will disturb your emotions and will disturb your soulish realm because, you know, most of us are emotionally attached to food. That's him now, calling in. Perfect. That's Dr. Dail. Let him in. Dr. Dail, just talking about you, sir.
Oh, okay. All right.
I just gave you timed it perfectly because I just finished reading your bio and just talked about your extensive knowledge in naturopathic medicine, and just want the people to know. Now, I gave them forewarning, and I told them, I said, everything you talk about, you're going to make some people mad because anytime that knowledge is being given to challenge your present state, it's going to disturb your emotions. And I'm just happy to have met you and to come in contact with your area of expertise. And I know just from the few lectures that I've heard you, bring and, that have been recorded, my mind was blown away. And I said, I have to get you on the show. So I know as much as you're going to stir some people's emotions, I know you're here to help as well. So Dr. James Dail, welcome to the Freedom Truth Radio Show. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming on to share your knowledge. And please feel free. You have the floor, and you can go in any direction you choose.
Okay. First of all, Brother Scott, I'm overjoyed to have someone that is interested and willing to put the truth out in the world to stop the pain and suffering that we're experiencing in our communities, our neighborhood. The sufferings that we don't even talk about. We talk about drive-by shootings, and we talk about people that incarcerated, but for the most part, we're all incarcerated because we're in a prison of pain and suffering and premature death because of what we consume and not realizing that our body cannot process or digest certain things that we are accustomed to eating. Because food, for the most part, it's nourishment and nutriment. That's what food means, nourishment and nutriment. So, in other words, if there's nothing nourishing there, and we're not talking about your emotions. Mm-hmm. In other words, and we say in the church, your flesh. We're not talking about appeasing that. We're talking about appeasing the instrument that God has given you to father his calling in the earth. See, we are called here in the earth to seek and save those which is lost. We are called to build the kingdom of God here on the earth. But if your tools are not sharp, they are dull or broken, in ill repair in most cases, that, we are not doing a service for God or the next generation. First, I'm going to go through how I got involved in health and healing and doing everything God's way quite naturally, but based on medical science. So for a lot of those out there that could be thinking that, well, what he's saying, there's no science behind it. But everything I teach, everything I say, there's medical science behind it, but I line it up with the scriptures for those that only work in their lives and respond to certain things scripturally. See, we can correct you on that as well. Matter of fact, I'm the only non-bishop to teach in the College of Bishops. I am a board-certified naturopathic medical. I'm a physiologist, and I'm a theologist. So, and I have books and articles, and even the Library of Congress on childhood obesity. I've been selected here in the last couple of weeks to be the chaplain of United Nations in the U.S., in the Caribbean, and South America. I've gotten an award from the National Congress of Black women on the things that I've accomplished over the years and how we have put together programs to turn around disease and take this pain and suffering out of our communities and all communities first where they're concerned, that we deal with every person to have a ear to listen and a heart to receive.
Right.
We're going to teach you. So for those of you that think that what I'm going to express here in the next a few minutes is that it's something that you're not going to desire and you got your own choices, and we're not teaching you and compelling you to do something, but we want you to see another way. And there's some things that you can try. You can see certain things change in your life. This is what it's all about. We're not here to take you and hoodwink you and tie you up and force you to eat some broccoli. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're just going to give you we actually will open up your mind and your heart.
Yes.
So that you can make different choices that you won't have to work. You don't have to be subjected to pain and suffering and premature death as we do in our communities. I'll give an example. African Americans are the sickest group of people in the world.
Sad to say.
We're the sickest. In every category, we are the champs when it comes to disease. First of all, no one ever told us that certain parts of the world where you're from, your body just can't process and digest certain things. Being in Africa and the Middle East, your body cannot effectively process or digest any protein from animals. First of all, your HCl in your stomach, the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, which will break down protein and amino acids, you have this 2.6. So in Africans and Middle Easterns. So, but a European is 2.4. They're more acidic. In other words, they can sit down. You can sit down and eat a piece of fish or egg with a European, and they'll live 8 years longer than you will. It's going to get them too, so it's not good for them too. But they're going to live 8 years longer than you because they got a high level of HCl in the stomach to break down more of a concentration of the protein into amino acid from an animal. And one of the things that we were told and we were taught is that a meal is not complete unless you have some type of animal protein on that plate.
Yes.
So if that's what we were taught and it's ingrained in us, then those are the choices we're going to make for our next generation. I'm going to give you an example. When I was 23 years old, I had high blood pressure. At 26, I was diabetic. Okay,
wow.
But I did not get alarmed because everyone around me had the same thing.
So it's common.
At 33 years old, I had a hemorrhoid operation, and what changed my life because I was an engineer before I changed at 33 years old. So in other words, I had a hemorrhoid operation at 33 years old. That's what changed my life. not because of the operation, but because of the knowledge I received from a little intern that was part of that operation of removing that hemorrhoid at 33 years old. So at what happened, I went in, they got that Duke, and I had the hemorrhoid removed. And when I was in recovery, a little intern came to my bed, and he said, "You know, you're very sick." I said, "Well, you know, you guys took care of that." He said, "No, we're not talking about hemorrhoids. No one ever died from hemorrhoid." He said, "But all those other issues that you're experiencing in your body, you're experiencing, you got high blood pressure?" I said, "Yeah." "You have diabetes?" I said, "Yeah." "And you got some problem with your heart?" I said, "Well, that's something new, but, you know, heart disease running in my family." He said, "No, nothing running in your family." He said, "Ignorance do." And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You got diabetes, you got high blood pressure, and he said, and you have a problem with ED, and you're 33 years old." I said, "Yeah." I said, "How do you know that?" He said, "Because of your blood pressure and your heart problems you have to have, because those issues align with your heart condition, align with your penis." So I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, I said, "Well, it's part of the my whole generation." He said, "No, it don't have to be." He said, he said, "Your parents have the same problem." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Grandparents too?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Then what is the problem is that you are eating what they're eating. If you eat what they eat, you're going to get the same thing they got."
Same thing.
It made so much sense to me. That light bulb came on. I said, "Oh, my God, that makes sense." So I went home and I dumped everything out of my house that my parents ate. In 10 days, my blood pressure was normal.
Wow.
In 90 days, I had no diabetes in my body. So after that, I could not concentrate on engineering. Only thing I could concentrate on is teaching people. I put myself in a position of, intellectually to be able to teach people that they don't have to suffer being pain because their parents did. We got to stop doing our parents doing, and otherwise we're going to get what they got.
Absolutely.
And that's a fact. I'm a member of Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. Of course, I'm not an MD. My daughter is an MD. She's a medical doctor.
Okay.
But I am an ND, so I don't want you to get confused here.
Absolutely.
But there's a major difference in what I do and what my daughter does.
Yes.
Okay. My daughter do not deal with healing of a disease. That's what I deal with, healing of the body.
Yes.
In its totality.
Now, your daughter has had to take the Hippocratic Oath, as I like to call it, the Hippocratic Oath.
Right.
As a doctor.
Do no harm.
Right.
If you give a person an aspirin, you're doing them harm because an aspirin creates 16 different diseases in your body. See, we say side effects.
Wow.
But side effects is a fancy way of saying disease. So if they put on that bottle that aspirin causes 16 different diseases, you will not take it.
That's
the
right.
way you take it. So they put on that warning, right on the label, right on the bottle, on the aspirin, since you brought that up. Aspirin causes 16 different diseases. And just because you might not have the symptom of some of the things on that bottle, but guess what? If you're on aspirin, especially taking one a day, to keep your blood thin. So otherwise, if you're doing that to prevent a heart attack or stroke, you got to think about this.
I know people that take that on a regular basis to keep from getting a heart attack. That's something.
Right. It's to thin your blood. So why is it when you take something that's going to cause 16 other diseases to thin your blood, how do you know your blood is too thick? What God messed up? God gave your blood thicker than what it should be to get the 120 that he told you, the 120 years that he promised us in Genesis 6:3? Why did God didn't realize he gave out, in other words, he created our blood too thick to run through our veins, through our bodies. That's just not in common sense, folks.
Wow.
And this is the thing here. An aspirin, give an example, since we own that aspirin, because most doctors will recommend it.
Of course they will.
And aspirin only works in the blood of 25% of the people they give it to. Only 25% of the people that use it to thin your blood. If your blood needs thinning, why didn't your doctor tell you to use some ginger? The ginger is more effective in thinning your blood and correcting your blood if you're doing a lot of saturated fat, so it coagulates the blood cells and make it a little thicker because of saturated fat. Why don't your doctor say, look, once you take 450 milligrams of ginger, and that'll keep your blood, and it works on 100% of the people, not 25%.
Yes.
And ginger do not have any side effects that's going to cause any harm to the body.
And that's 100%
so why don't they tell
plant-based.
You, take some ginger.
Yes.
But it's a system that's designed and to deal with symptoms and not a particular disease, and that they'll tell you. So they're not going to lie to you about this. Well, we're going to an example: high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're not going to tell you if you stop eating animal protein and drink sufficient amount of water, and that's about a half an ounce per body weight pound.
Mm-hmm.
Drink sufficient amount of water, you're not going to have blood pressure problems. You're not going to have the problem. So why would I give you a drug to maintain the heart, the cardiovascular problems, to maintain the problems? What you're going to do, but take a high blood pressure medicine. Why don't you get rid of high blood pressure? Why don't you get rid of the cause of that symptom? Change what you're eating.
Change what you're eating.
And this is medical facts and medical research. I'm telling you. An example: the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, and you guys can write this down. And the website is pcrm.org. Stands for Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. It's 12,000 medical doctors that's going to teach you the same thing I'm teaching you, okay? It's 12,000 with a conscious. So in other words, the 12,000, if you go to that website, we have all the medical research and let you know that if you want to get rid of diabetes, stop eating the cause. An example, 3 eggs a week increases the chance of having diabetes by 54%. Hold on
a second, Dr. Dail. I just... Now, you're really going to interrupt some people's breakfast regimen here, because one of the things that how some of these popular low-carb and no-carb diets are, they push eating heavy amounts of eggs, as a high-protein diet, especially people that lift weights. I got a friend of mine that's a heavy weightlifter, and he eats eggs all the time. Like, he boil eggs. Sometimes they'll eat like a 4 or 6 egg omelet, and they look at it as being high protein. So you're telling me eating 3 eggs a week will trigger diabetes?
54%. This is the thing here. The biggest mistake weightlifters and athletes do is use animal protein to build muscle. This is the thing here. Fitness and health is 2 different components. For those that don't know who I am, I'm 74 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm much stronger at 74 than when I was 20.
Wow.
And you can go online, Fox News, Fox 8. You can go on my site. You can Google me, okay? I was at the treadmill at a Carolina Panthers, one of the owners of the Carolina Panthers. I was at his gym, and I was on a treadmill for 7 hours on my 70th birthday.
That's right. I was on a
treadmill for 7 hours, moving at 4.5 miles an hour, 32.5 miles nonstop, and I haven't eaten anything from an animal in 40 years. My body is perfect. I can run 15 miles every other day. I climb mountains. I dive. Matter of fact, people that are 20 years old can't keep up with me, but I eat all plants the last 40 years. And this is another thing. For all the weightlifters and athletes out there, all you have to do is Google plant-eating athletes or either bodybuilders. The muscle is more profound. We have a majority of the quarterbacks now in the NFL are plant eaters because plant eaters are stronger.
Yes.
They're faster. Their brain cells are larger.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the thing here. For any of you out there that are having issues and problems in academia, if you switch to a plant-based diet, guess what? Information will be able to come to you. In order to internalize information much easier and much quicker because your brain cells is larger. Plant-eating brain cells are larger than meat eaters.
That's a fact.
Think about that. We have a lot of children that's in special ed. We begin to move the animal protein away from them
mm-hmm.
and put them on just plants. And guess what happened? The grades began to increase, increase very rapidly. So in other words, there's no benefit in eating animal protein. And this is another thing. And I want you to use some common sense here.
Mm-hmm.
Use some common sense. And I want you to use common sense. You can't listen to what everybody tells you. Now, this is the common sense. Now, look at a horse, an example. A horse, I've never seen a horse in the gym lifting weights. I don't see him doing jumping jacks. I don't see the horse doing anything. And they're walking around eating grass, chilling.
Yes.
Eating grass and drinking water. This is the thing here. A 300-pound man can jump on that horse's back. That horse would take off
It will.
and run 30 miles an hour for 30 miles nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
And when he stop and eat some grass and drink some more water.
That's it.
So now, why is it that horse get his protein from grass,
Uh-huh.
and I have to get mine
From a steak.
from killing another animal?
That's it.
See, I'm not in animal rights. I'm not in Peter, but God called me to explain this to the people so they'll know and understand
That's good.
that animal protein. If you think about this, your meals should be based on plant-based meals. Protein should never be a determining factor in what foods that you consume. Let me tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
And this is botany. Anyone studied botany will understand this. Every plant cell has protein in it. So if you eat lettuce, you get some protein.
That's right.
You gotta understand that. Remember, that horse got muscles everywhere.
Everywhere.
Or that ox, or that moose, or that deer.
The gorilla, too.
The gorilla.
One of the strongest animals in the jungle. That's right.
And if you look at me, for the last 40 years, I get all my protein from grass.
Yes.
Not exactly grass.
Right,
but,
I know what you mean. Leaves, plants.
Nut seeds and okra and those types of things.
Right.
But see, all my friends are not here today. The
Wow.
folks I went to college with, the folks I was in the
Wow.
Air Force with, they all suffered and died because they were still, based on what the doctors were telling them, you got to get protein from an animal source. That's a big lie. Your body, this is another thing here. Your body can only digest and process 4% of that protein that you're getting from that animal. Now,
Wow.
4%, and the rest, 96%, goes through fat and through the kidneys, and then you got kidney disease, okay? So that's why 90% of the people on dialysis is who? African Americans.
Yes.
90%.
That's right.
Because of eating animal protein. But there's no such thing as a plant eater on the kidney machine.
No.
You see? You're not going to see that. So the key, and yes, we want you to use some common sense here, but just try, and we're not telling you to go and throw your drugs in the wastebasket. We're not telling you that. We want you to work with your medical doctor.
Yes.
So what you do is start doing plant-based food. Start for a week, 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And after 10 days, see what you actually need if you're on any type of drugs or medication.
Yes.
See where you continue to need the drugs or medication. Go out to the doctor. Doctor, check me out. And the doctor said, well, you don't have no more high blood pressure, you don't have no more diabetes, and your joints feeling better, all things, no more migraines and all those things. And if the doctor if the doctor is after your success for your health and your wealth is not wealth, but wealth too, because the money that you're going to spend going back and forth to the doctor because of eating all this food to cause disease, the doctor's going to be happy, but your bank account's not going to be very happy. So yeah, and health and wealth. Okay, right. So we spend an average of adults in our community, an average of $17,600 a year in doctor visits alone.
Wow.
Because you're eating animal protein. And another thing, not only animal protein out there that's causing disease, but things that carbohydrates that's prepared and cooked under dry heat, like French fries, potato chips.
Yes.
All chips that's been cooked and baked, cookies, and those types of things. Because when you heat complex carbohydrates, you can put it in the oven, and the dry heat is going to create a chemical called acrylamide. Acrylamide causes more cancer than smoking. That's why we have more people with cancer in our communities. Not only will we consume acrylamide from potato chips, French fries, corn flakes, all those types of things. And folks, you really don't want to do corn either, because corn is a major cause of disease.
Yes.
Because it increases something called cortisol. And you know people with pot bellies, they are consumers of a lot of corn.
Corn syrup, corn byproducts, yes.
And we can think about our favorite meals, especially being from the South like I am, is cornbread.
Cornbread.
Corn grits.
That's a staple. Yes.
That's a staple.
Yeah.
And we have thousands of people a year dying in the South because of grits alone.
That's right.
Corn increases a hormone called actually the acrylamide. The acrylamide is not a hormone, but it's a chemical, it's a substance that's a major cause of cancer. Okay?
Now,
So,
I just learned, Dr. Dail, about this very recently. Two things. One, that corn is also used to make ethanol gas, and it shouldn't really be consumed by a human because most of the corn that's grown nowadays is genetically modified. It's a chemical base. It's not even a real plant. Also,
right.
The thing I learned about, I just learned this about potato chips, that if you eat a potato chip, because, like you said, it's cooked under dry heat or it's been fried, and so that changes the chemical compound of what a potato actually is. And when you consume that, it's taking water from your brain in order to rehydrate the potato so it can be digested. Is that correct?
That's correct. This is the thing. People have to understand. 83% of your brain, your brain is water.
Yes.
83%. And then we try to figure out why are we making different choices. Can't remember our names sometimes, and we're not consuming enough water. But like you said, another thing, we will increase the dehydration of the cells and tissue in the brain and the body. Not only alcohol would do that, caffeine would do it. So if you're doing a high concentration of caffeine, is what you better double up your water.
Okay.
Because water, remember, nothing in your body moves without water.
True.
95% of joint issues, arthritis, 95% because of dehydration. 95%. And this is the thing here.
Wow.
Almost 100% of back issues come from dehydration.
Back issues?
Migraines, headaches, 98% of headaches.
Wow.
Dehydration. Because once your brain, remember, it's 83% water. Because once the brain begins to dehydrate, once you begin to dehydrate, the first thing you're going to start losing water on is your brain. Okay? That's the part of your body that's active 24/7, just like your heart.
Hence, we have Alzheimer's and
brain.
dementia.
Your brain needs those electrolytes, which is the water, to keep the electrical currents moving through your body. The brain has to have that.
Wow.
Okay? So without the water, all of a sudden, the functionality of the brain begin to slow down. The brain cells get smaller. Now, once those brain cells get smaller, guess what? It's not going to bounce back once you drink a glass of water. What you lose, you lost it. You lost it. So we have to always encourage our children to drink sufficient amount of water. Water is so powerful that nothing in the world can function without it.
That's a fact.
In other words, when NASA go into the outer space to try to find different planets and so forth, they won't even attempt to go to a planet if there knows no water on there, because there's no life. There's no such thing as life without water.
That's a fact.
So that's how critical it is. So the body will shut down with insufficient amount of water. And another thing we need to understand is that thirst and hunger mimics each other. So in other words, most people out there that is thirsty, but they get a sandwich. So now they got obesity problem, and now they're dehydrated. They can't remember their name. Their joints aching. And another thing, a lot of weight is gained because of the body is trying to compensate for the water that it needs. It'll hold what water it has between the cells.
That makes sense.
And so then the water is not benefiting at all because it's between the cells and not in the cells of the body. You see, so it's trying to keep you alive. God designed the body to keep you alive.
Keep you alive, right.
Okay? So a lot of things, water is just amazing. And a lot of people can maintain proper weight, but just increasing the level of water they're consuming. And the level that they need to consume basically is a half ounce of water per body weight pound. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you need to drink 100 ounces of water.
Yes.
And to make it simpler than that, if you anything over 200 pounds, you need to do about 5 ounces of water about every 30 to 45 minutes. So So now, 50 pounds, every 50 pounds, you lose an ounce.
Mm-hmm.
So now at 150, if you weigh 150 pounds, so that means anything over 200 pounds is 5 ounces. But you don't want to go beyond 5 ounces because that's all your kidney can process.
Okay.
In 30 minutes, an hour. That's all your kidney can process. So in other words, you're wasting water, and you think you get sufficient water, you're not. So when people consume more than 5 ounces at a time, your body can't, your kidney can't process about 5 ounces. So in other words, if you drink 16 ounces, 11 ounces gonna go up in the commode. Your body's not gonna be able to use it. So 11 ounces just threw away. But you're thinking that I drunk a gallon of water today, but in all actuality, you don't drink a quart.
So really, you should be spacing it out. So you can.
You got to space it out throughout the day. Just like as your body need water at different times of the day.
Yes.
So you need to keep it supplied. That's how. But water is so critical. Matter of fact, nothing will work in your body without it. We have a lot of people. They have back operations, getting the knees replaced, the joints replaced, the hips replaced. All that because of dehydration. Water is life. You got to always remember that. There's
Absolutely.
no life without it. We got people that on aspirin, people that had their brain operated on because of migraines, because of just water.
Just water.
The doctor's not going to tell you that.
That's
some
too easy.
Will, but some won't.
Too simple. Yeah.
It's too simple, so you wouldn't need a doctor if they told you to drink some water. But it's something so simple, and But at any rate, we have to be more vigilant.
Yes.
And ask questions. So when you go to visit your doctor, ask doctors questions.
Yes.
And that most of the time they'll give you the truth. A lot of times when they give us the truth, we don't want to receive it or accept it because they tell us that, look, I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know what's wrong with you. We got all the tests back. We can't find anything wrong with it. Or just want you to try this. They give you a drug and a medication.
Of course.
What you need to do is just change what you're eating and see the body begin to correct itself.
Yes.
Just change to eat fruits and vegetables, nuts and grains. And why does the body need that? Okay. Because everything but you need a good supplement as well because unless you grow your own fruits and vegetables because
the minerals in the soil depleted.
The minerals and vitamins and plant precursors and hormones, all those things in plants that we get in the grocery store have not been matured in that particular fruit or vegetable because they have to harvest it before the plant matured. Or a lot of the chemicals along with that. A lot of the chemicals that plant need to soil through the root system is not there because they overproduce fruits and vegetables to get them to the market to sell.
Wow. Yeah, tell me about that. I remember you saying something about spinach. If you had spinach maybe 50, 60 years ago, that in order for you to get the same amount of nutrients that you need from it now, you'd have to eat about 70 times that?
Yeah, 70 bowls of that. Yeah, this is
bowls.
the thing here. In 1948, this is based on the Department of Agriculture, okay? And these are things that's botany. It's out there, so there's nothing that people try to hide, but we just don't seek things because we're going to listen to people that's going to tell us some things that's going to please our flesh. They're going to say, okay, the hot dogs are good for you. Oh, I love hot dogs. And you're not going to look at that the hot dogs killed 3,800 people. Sara Lee hot dogs killed 38 people in Detroit just for eating that junk. Hot dogs is another poison.
That's right.
So at any rate, we have to be vigilant on the things that we consume and read the ingredients in those things.
Yes.
Read the ingredients because the thing like sodium citrate. I'll give you an example. Sodium citrate causes 37 different diseases, from brain lesions. Think about it.
Wow.
It causes brain lesions. It causes 37 different, and guess where you get sodium citrate? It causes depression, it causes heart disease, cancer, all kinds of things, leukemia. Then think about this, people. Sodium citrate is in Jell-O. You feed it to your children.
Wow.
And you need to look up sodium citrate and see how deadly it is, and see why would they allow something like that in the food source. In this country, this so-called food source. Okay, so Hawaiian Punch, sodium citrate. Gatorade, sodium citrate.
Unbelievable.
There's so many different things. Guess what? Flintstone vitamins, sodium citrate. You're giving your child you think that you're getting something healthy, but guess who made Flintstone? Bear Aspen.
The
so
same
Bear
people that make
need more customers.
Wow.
You feed your child Flintstone vitamins, it has sodium citrate in it.
Unbelievable.
You know, sodium citrate, people, please look it up and see how deadly it is. But
and
it's
that
in
means
your children's Flintstone vitamins. It's in one of their vitamins for women and men.
That's right. If it's in the Jello, that means it's in those gummy vitamins that everybody's eating and think they're healthy as well.
Sodium citrate.
Yes.
Remember, sodium citrate will sustain the freshness. They call it the taste. Mm-hmm. Because what we want to do, remember, what we want to do is we want to produce something that will appeal to your taste, but it's going to cause other issues that's going on in your body. So then I can get paid, because you got to go through this medical system.
That's a fact.
And you don't even need to have money to go through the medical
system.
The system do not care whether you're on Medicaid or Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
They are concerned about getting paid.
That's right.
You got to understand that. It's a business. It's not a social system. They need to get paid. And so you deal with it. A lot of times we think, oh, my doctor says it's okay for me to eat some fish or some chicken. Just take the skin off of it.
Talk about that fish and chicken.
Where did they get that training from?
Mm-hmm.
Medical doctors don't get into nutritional training, and even the School of Nutrition. I'll give you an example. Harvard University in Massachusetts, got about $37 million a year from the food industry so that it can teach the nutritionists, that chicken, dairy, sugar, all those things is healthy for you. So the nutritionist that's been educated through the Harvard school system, nutrition school system, you go to that nutrition, you go, oh my God, that person is a graduate of Harvard University. They have a PhD. But when you see these people, they're obese and overweight for the most part because they are using the same thing with medical doctors. We all know that medical doctors is the sickest profession out there.
Yes, they are.
Now, they're teaching you. The nutritionist and the hospital well, it's okay to eat this, it's okay to eat that. Now, the state of Maryland, an example, they are passing a law that where you got to take the meat and sort of offering vegan diets in the hospitals. Think about this. They're passing a law right now. You can go and look that up online. Mm-hmm. The government and the state of Maryland all need to do the same thing.
Yes.
And that was pushed by the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. So in other words, why is it that you go to that hospital? Remember, 98% of all disease come from animal protein or simple refined sugar. 98%. So why would you go to the hospital with a particular disease and they're going to feed you the food that got you there in the first place?
That's a fact, yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, not at all. I've seen them serve pork chops as a meal to patients in the hospital. That makes no sense to me at all.
But see the thing here, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. Remember, this is 12,000 medical doctors. Mm-hmm. And what they're saying is the food served in the hospital is designed to keep you coming back.
Of course.
Now this is 12,000 medical doctors. Mm-hmm. Now, there's another thing. Everything they teach, they back it up with medical science, okay? Now, they back it up with medical science. So just in case, if your doctors do not know who they are, mm-hmm. then they did go to medical school, because all medical schools giving out literature about the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. Mm-hmm. So if you ask your doctor, say, what do you know about the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine? And you say, I don't know who that is, you better get out of his office. You didn't go to medical school.
I know that's
You better get out of there, run out of there, because every medical doctor get brochures and information on Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. But now it's up to them to teach their patients that what you got to do is start eating all plants and you won't have the disease that you have.
Yes. Yes. Now, it's funny you say that, because when I went and had my physical a couple years ago, and, you know, the doctor noticed I lost some weight because I, you know, been eating plant-based and everything. He said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I went vegan. I've been eating plant-based. And he said, that's good. He said, but, You want to make sure that you're getting right amount of protein. I said, here we go. Here we go.
You know, that's what I'm saying. See, in other words, to get the right amount of protein, if you get it from an animal, you're going to stay sick.
You're gonna stay
I don't
sick.
care how much weight you lose.
Of course, because I
You
don't
see what
have
I'm
to come to him that often if I'm doing a plant-based diet.
Right, you know the plan. You won't see him no more.
No.
He can't make any money.
so he said, make sure you get the right amount of protein. I said, I'm getting my protein. I eat a lot of kale.
It's beginning to work on the conscience of a lot of doctors.
Yes.
Because right now, we are 270,000 medical doctors short. These are medical doctors that got tired and walked out of the place.
What?
270,000. That is 250,000, which is 1 million medical doctors in this country. There's 250,000 of them walked out. Their conscience wouldn't allow them. This is another thing. I got to on you right quick. That where you need to. There's a documentary out there.
Okay.
Called Escape Fire. Escape Fire.
Okay.
The CNN ran it for about 4 days in a row. Back a few years ago, but you can still pull it up. Escape Fire.
Okay.
And these are medical doctors on there talking about, and I never thought it would be on the news. This open to be able to on the news because all news stations are basically owned by the pharmaceutical companies. So, but they are 4 days in a row. They did documentary where the doctor was telling you that they can't sleep at night. Because they know what they're doing to their patients. They're not helping them, but destroying them. And they cannot sleep at night. They got to retire. There's so many doctors walking off because of the things they're doing. And these are the things that all you can pull up. I'm just repeating things that's on this documentary. CNN played it for 4 days in a row. And they had one young man that was 32 years old out of Louisiana, had 4 open heart surgeries, 4, and never had heart disease.
What?
And this is on this program. And then there's another, you can pull up a program if you think that you don't need to ask questions when you go in there.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to ask questions. And you got to make sure that those questions, you're pleased by the answers that you're getting.
Yes.
London, Kentucky. And these are things you can pull up yourself.
Mm-hmm.
London, Kentucky. There was a hospital in London, Kentucky. And this was a few years ago. That had open heart surgery on 3,800 people, and they never had heart disease.
What?
They never had heart disease. London, Kentucky, the city is about 75,000 in that town. 75,000. And this is one thing you got to know too. Back in the 50s, the government had to shut down every hospital in this country to get control of it because every person walked in there they want to do surgery on. See, these are things you can pull up. It's just that. Basically, I always tell folks the things I teach, most of the time it's in daily news. It's in daily, but we overlook it. Well, you just can't believe that system. Another one, USA Today.
Mm-hmm.
USA Today did an article on the serial killers. And so we don't want to listen at this. We don't want to hear this. Like I said, just like food, we don't want to talk about our doctors. Remember, folks, my baby daughter is a medical doctor. A lot of my friends, I teach medical doctors. So I don't have nothing to do with it. There are just some. Remember this. Every medical doctor is not your friend. You got some good ones out there now, folks. You got some good ones out there saving lives, and I've seen there's a lot of great ones out there. So I don't want you to think that all medical doctors are bad. What I'm telling you is that start to being vigilant.
Yes.
Because your body is all that you got, folks. You'll never get another one. Be vigilant. And this is another USA Today. I'm with you, and it's in my book, USA Today. They did an article in 2006, in December 2006, on the serial killers that's operating out of hospitals and nursing homes. The name of that, it says the wake-up call for hospitals and nursing homes. The wake-up call for hospitals, and this comes from the law enforcement, folks. You're talking about 51 medical doctors and 3 nurses had killed 1,250 people that they had evidence on, and they convicted them. So this is no conspiracy, none of this. This is based on a law enforcement system. Most of them still in jail there. Some of them had died. Mm-hmm. So, but you're not going to say it on the news, but it was in USA Today, 2006, December the 8th through the 13th, they ran it 4 days in a row, folks. So this is the thing here. It's called serial killers. It's a wake-up call for the hospitals and nursing homes. And the FBI said that they still know of 4,500 medical doctors that they're trying to get enough information on that they know they're serial killers but don't have enough evidence. So it's kind of hard. So you got to know and understand. You got the same cut of people from that organization, from that profession. You got any profession. Just because a person is a medical doctor, don't think they're not serial killers. But they're all not bad people. I want you to understand that. You got some medical doctors out there, a whole bunch of folks be dead without them.
Yes.
I've seen so many of this operate that especially I was in a war in Vietnam, seeing those medical doctors working with the ankle deep in blood, putting people back together and keeping them alive, working 24/7, not even getting a blink of sleep. Now, I see I'm telling you, folks, we have to have medical doctors. We have to. So I'm not against all the things. Just like all people are not bad people. There's some is bad. All folks in prison is not bad people.
Yes.
You got some good folks in jail.
That's right.
Okay? But I'm telling you, you have to be vigilant. That's what I'm telling you. Be vigilant. And one of the things about the Jehovah's Witness, they always send an escort with the elders to the doctor and make sure that the escort will pick up all the information that elder person needs so that the doctor don't give them anything that hurt them.
That's right.
Overdo them and stuff
That's
like
right.
that. You see? And so that I thank God for them. We all need to do the same thing.
Yes.
Really.
Yes.
But you got, like I said, I'll reiterate this. You got some powerful, good, effective doctors out there, medical doctors out there. You got some super ones. I'll tell you, and I can name a whole bunch of them. Super medical doctors. But you also, just like any profession, you got some out there that's losers too.
They are losers, yes.
Yeah, you got some losers, just like you got an auto mechanic. You got some good auto mechanics,
and you got some
but you
bad
also
ones.
got some sorry ones.
That's a fact.
All professions, you got to know and understand that. It is a professional.
Yes.
It's a healthcare professional, and I just can't stop reiterating that, but I don't want you to stop going to your doctor. I don't want you to do that, but I just want
do
you to
your
ask
research.
questions.
Yes, and I'm so glad you brought that up because for the last 10 minutes, I want to ask a couple questions that people posted in the chat, and I'm sure you can answer them, but it'll give some insight. One person asked, how can we detach ourselves from meat, especially when our body craves it, and, along with the balance in work and family? I guess what they're saying is, it's kind of hard to switch over, I guess, with your grocery regimen and how you cook for your family. How can they detach themselves? They're so attached to it because they're used to eating it. How can they get their body to stop craving it?
Well, this is the thing here. It's a social setting, really. It's based on knowledge. But what make that meat and so addictive is the sauce that you put on it. Sugar and salt is the addictive part, not the meat.
Not the meat.
If you don't put sugar and salt on it, guess what?
It's not
you
gonna
can't
taste
even
good to
eat
you.
the stuff. It'll swell up in your mouth and spit it out.
Yeah, right.
So it's not the meat that you're addicted to. The meat is part of your social conscience. Okay, but it's part of your social conscience because, in other words, you can't feel that you had a significant meal for your family unless some type of meat is on the plate.
Right.
But you're addicted to it. You want it there because of the salt and sugar. That's why all sauce. Think about it. You got even hot sauce got sugar in it.
It does.
See,
it does.
Sugar is more addictive than crack cocaine.
It is.
So,
yes.
So if I want to sell a lot of hot sauce, I got to put some sugar in it because you can get addicted to the hot sauce I'm selling, and you can keep putting it on your meat, and you think you're addicted to the meat, but you're really not addicted to the meat.
To the
it's
sauce.
The salt and the sugar. Salt it's a chemical causes major addiction, and sugar as well. So let me tell you how to get rid of sugar. What you want to do is you want to get rid of sugar, and it'll take. You can do it in 3 days, really. And this is what you do. Don't do anything sweet. Not even fruits, not anything that's healthy. Nothing sweet at all. Nothing. No sugar, no. Give yourself 3 days. No apples, no oranges, no grapes, nothing with sugar in it or on it, okay? No breads, none of those things. This is for 3 days. And on the 4th day, eat an apple.
And it'll be
guess
terribly
what? Your
sweet.
taste buds
Yes.
will be craving apples instead of the rest of that stuff, okay? Apples instead of eating fruit. That's one way. Now, another way is L-glutamine. L-glutamine. L-glutamine, that's capital L, that's G-L-U-T-A-M-I-N-E. L-glutamine is an amino acid. If you use 450 milligrams 3 times a day of that, normally about a week, you have no desire for that sweetness as well, sugar as well. And any type of salt, anything eaten with salt, just don't eat anything. Don't eat anything with salt on it for 7 days. And then on the 8th day, put some salt on anything you want to eat, and you're starting throwing up.
Wow.
So the body knows.
So it's really just a withdrawal.
It's a poison.
Wow, it's really just a withdrawal because our bodies.
That's an easy way of doing that.
Yeah.
Of course, there's other ways you do it, but that's the most easiest way of doing it to get rid of those addictions. Because remember, and the whole social thing about serving meals, where you feel that your children, they're used to eating different meats because we told them that they got to get protein from some chicken or some fish. And there's another thing here, people. This is very important here. Think about all the cancer that's going on in the communities, all communities, cancer all over the place. And remember, the people that have the least addictive and least the most conscious and smoke less than any other race in the country is African Americans.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, but now they have more cancer.
Yes.
Because guess what?
Sugar.
They do more fried chicken. And you can go to a physician's committee for responsibility and look it up. Fried chicken. Look at this now. Think about this. 1 kilogram of cooked chicken, 1 kilogram, that's like 2.2 pounds, has the same amount of carcinogen in it as you smoke 9,000 cigarettes.
What? Whoa,
so
wait a minute.
Hold
on, Dr. Dail.
We're leading the world with cancer because of the meat. Now, that's just chicken. All of it is going to cause cancer.
Did you say 2.2 pounds of fried chicken is like smoking 9,000 cigarettes?
9,000 cigarettes. Why do you think everybody got cancer in our community?
Oh, my God. Stay off the Popeye sandwiches, y'all. Get off the Popeye sandwiches. Now,
I'm telling you.
Dr. Dail, I got my producer here, and he was so intrigued by the broadcast, he had to come in. He wanted to ask you a question. Ruben, go ahead and ask your question to Dr. Dail.
Hey, Dr. Dail. How you doing? Welcome to Hampton Radio City.
Great.
On Freedom Truth Radio. Thank you so much. I have a question, and it's more a question/statement. Just like what Vince said when he went to the doctor a few years ago, the doctor told him that, what are you doing? And he wanted him to eat meat. I went through the same thing. Now, here's the thing is when I had my last checkup was, I think, 2013, 2014, something like that. But prior to that, I haven't had a checkup in like 18 years to that. And then when I went to go see the doctor says, oh, you're fine. Only thing is that your LDL is just a little high. So the only cure for that really is just run around the block a couple of times and just to get it down a little bit. Other than that, you're fine. He seemed like so disappointed that he couldn't subscribe anything to me because I became pretty much vegan myself back in 1994 to that time. So I stopped the last thing I stopped eating pork when I was 12. And then I just said was, chicken, turkey, and beef. I stopped eating beef about 94, 95. And chicken and turkey I stopped eating around 99, 2000. And when I went to go see the doctor, he was like, oh, you're healthy like a 20-year-old. And he goes, well, Ruben, you can have a beef steak or something like that from time to time.
He wants to wrap on that beef.
Like,
you got to come to his office again.
And he was that pays rent, man. You got to pay rent.
Right.
That's exactly
you should have seen.
Pay his rent.
I hear you.
And what that's good what you're doing. But what we have to do is what you guys are doing right now. We have to get information out there, man. We are suffering. We are suffering. We're putting more money in the medical system than any other race on the planet. They said we're 17% of this country, but about 65% of the $3 trillion going in that system coming from
See, just because it's not coming out of it's immediately out of your pocket, you don't even think about how much it's costing, how much they're making off of you coming in. So there is no incentives for them to get you well. Because if you got well, you no longer need them, and they don't get paid.
Yeah, and that's why he was disappointed in me when I went in there. Because he was like, how in the world you haven't had a checkup in like 18, 19 years? You come in here and you're still fine. And I said,
and one of the things, let me interject this what I got on my mind.
Sure.
So before I'm sorry to stop you, but one of the things here that we've been told is that fish and chicken is healthy for us, and pork is not. But if you're dealing with the chemicals that's in those meat, the uric oxalic acid is in those meat. This is the thing here. Pork is not a good thing, but I tell you what, it's healthier than eating fish.
What?
Pork is a terrible thing, but it's healthier than eating fish.
Now, what makes fish unhealthy?
Fish, oh my God, it's got DHA in it. DHA is fertilizer for cancer, and the saturated fat in fish will coagulate into plaque, into heart, cause us circulation issues quicker than any other thing you can consume. That fish it was only designed for fertilizer for plants. You should never even think about eating that fish. Fish is there's nothing healthy about that fish.
Now,
they're saying that you get some omega-3s. If the omega-3 without the corresponding amount of omega-6 is basically useless. It causes other problems. Now, I'll give you an example. If you get omega-3 from flaxseed, a walnut, is perfectly in the right proportion.
Okay.
The amount is in the right, but if you get it from a fish, all you're going to get a high concentration of 3s, low concentration of 6s, and guess what? It's going to cause heart disease and cancer.
Wow. Now wait a minute, Dr. Dail. You're going to make a lot of our church women mad because they're going to the Gospel Crab Fest this year. They're going to the Gospel Crab Fest. They're going to get their crabs from Maryland. They're going to get their crab legs, their shrimp, their mussels, and their oysters. You're going to make them mad because they can't go to the Crab Fest now, Dr. Dail. Now, what you say about them crab legs?
All my friends are dead because they couldn't give it up, too.
Oh, so my goodness.
Everybody's not going to change.
That's right.
My friends, I'm 74 years old.
Yes.
My oldest friend, what they refused to change when I changed, they just called me the weed eater, right? So my oldest friend got to 68. Every one of them died in hospice. Had the joints replaced, had the intestines taken out, had the heart operated on, had the kidneys removed on dialysis. They couldn't walk. They couldn't even. Someone had to wash them. Someone had to shave them. Someone had to brush their teeth. These are all the friends. The oldest one got to be 68. And naturally, the system that my biological age is 33 years old, and I'm 74. I get stronger every day because all I eat is the food that God instructed me to eat in Genesis 1:29.
Good.
Now, Dr. Dail.
And what we did, we jumped to Leviticus. Leviticus had nothing to do with the dietary program.
Yeah. Talk about that.
Leviticus, Moses wrote Leviticus for the Levite priests. Okay, it had nothing to do with the dietary program. So when it was a ritual that the priest went through after they sacrificed a particular animal, or they sacrificed grain, whatever they sacrificed. So it was a ritual that the priest went through. And guess how they prepared that meat?
Over smoking
fire. The
fire.
Bible said in Kings they prepared it through salted meat.
Yes.
See, salted meat, they took a piece of the meat from that animal they sacrificed, right?
Yes.
So when you sacrifice that animal, that means you are going to suffer too. So that's what they had to do. Got salted meat. Salted meat means flesh. You put it in cold water. You bring it to a boil, okay, and then you eat a piece. But let me tell you how it's going to taste. Once you don't remember, they didn't put in hot sauce or ketchup on it, A1A sauce.
Right.
So when you eat animal protein without putting all those types of chemicals on it, so you can get it down right away. Remember, you got to eat meat. You got to get it down right away because you can't chew it. At 45 times you're supposed to chew your food, okay?
Yes.
So now, this is what happens. They cannot swallow it. It'll swell up in your mouth. So in order for those priests, when they kill that animal, they are going to suffer some too because guess what? They got to get that down, okay? They got to get that. As long as they chew it, it swells up in your mouth. You can't even swallow, but they had to force this stuff down.
That was part of the ritual.
Now, hey, Doctor.
That's part of the ritual.
Also,
Has nothing to do with the dietary program. Matter of fact, this is the thing here. God made it very plain to Noah in Genesis 6:3 after the flood, when God said that when God told Noah that as I have given you plants before the flood, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then verse 4 he said, now I give you all things. See, but then what happened, the church, okay, God give us all things. We eat anything. We can eat all things, and we eat it. God said we can have it. But he never got to verse 5. Verse 5, God said, but. See, but in Hebrew means forget what I just said.
Forget what I just said.
He
Yes.
said, flesh and blood you shall not eat. And
Wow.
then he said that if you kill man or beast for some food, God said that man will avenge the death of man. That means you kill man to make a sandwich out of him, meaning the sheriff's going to come and get you. But God said, if you kill a beast, God said, I will avenge the death of that beast. I'm not going to trust man to take you down. But guess what? That's why all these animals that we consume is a major cause of disease that we're going to suffer
That's a fact.
disproportionately and die early, because we're not supposed to be killing some animal and making a sandwich out of them with all these beans and seeds and nuts and grains all over the place. I spend less than $1 a day on food.
Yes, you're right. Hey, Dr. Dail, that's a great statement. But you can also get omega-3 from seaweed too.
Yes.
Yeah,
And-
seaweed is excellent.
Yeah.
Seaweed is excellent.
Yeah.
A matter of fact, seaweed is 20 times more nutritional than plant-based food, plants.
Yes.
Right, and I told people that's how fish get their omega-3 from plant-based.
Yeah, we're not getting the omega-3
The fish
from the
don't
fish.
make
It's what
omega-3.
the fish eat that gives the omega-3.
Three.
Yeah, and one last question. We got to close out, but I got to ask this question because it's
Okay.
so prevalent in our community. What can we do about the mental health disorders? And I believe it's from the chemical imbalances that are in food, because so many people are suffering from depression, anxiety. And they're taking things like Ritalin and what's the other one? Adderall, metformin, all those things. What can they do in their changing their diets to get rid of depression and anxiety?
This is the thing. A lot of people don't understand this. Depression is clinical depression. Depression, we all get a little depressed every once in a while based on what's going on in your life. You don't go out and take a drug for it, but if you're eating correctly, you're not going to have it won't last. It's just fleeting. It's a fleeting problem.
Yes.
This is the thing here. Your liver is your chemical manufacturing plant.
Okay.
So that's why plant eaters don't get depression. In other words, that your liver is trying to process those chemicals that's coming from that meat, and it cannot do it. So it's a missteps. Your liver goes through 600 different functions every minute. 600. So if things that begin to absorb into that liver through the hemoglobin of the blood that's moved through the liver, of course, the liver transfers everything that comes out of the liver to the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system moves through the cells and tissue of the body. But this is what happened. The liver begins to skip different functions. And that's where you're going to get depressed, because the brain is not going to get sufficient amount of oxygen if the lungs are not mixing the blood effectively. See, all those things come from the liver. All mental, I've seen it all. Matter of fact, you look it up. Depression is a major cause of chemicals that the liver cannot process, but it tries.
Okay.
Remember that the liver is designed to break down every chemical in the lowest chemical form. For example, you take an aspirin, here's an example, that liver going to try to break that aspirin down to another chemical form, but it cannot break it down in the lower because it's already broken down. It's a synthetic chemical.
Yes.
The liver going to try. So everything you put in your body is supposed to be organic, not inorganic. It should be organic. You should not put anything in your body synthetic. Anything you put in your body synthetic, it's going to cause the liver, going to cause problems with the liver, because the liver going to try to break that down in a lower chemical form. And when it do that, the liver misses some of those 600 functions, and then the lungs are not going to get sufficient amount of nutrients and energy, and then the lungs is not going to be able to mix the oxygen with the blood properly, so the brain is not going to get all the oxygen that it needs, and glucose. The brain needs glucose for energy. It's not going to get that. Then we get depressed. Okay.
Wow.
Other issues and problems.
Wow.
The key is to the key, folks, is really go with plants. Go with plants. That's
it.
And I've been doing it. And there's 12,000 medical doctors there at Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine.
Mm-hmm.
We got all the medical research to back it up with. Anyone tell you that you got to have a steak every once in a while, need you to keep coming back.
Because you got to pay their rent.
They got to pay the rent.
That's
Folks
it.
got to pay the rent. They need you coming back.
Oh, my God.
And then you get addicted, and then they feed you food that to keep you coming back
Yes.
in the cafeteria. If you get admitted to the hospital, the junk. I went to visit some people in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
This is a couple of years ago, and they were serving this person. They had cancer, and there's a celebrity type, and they were served. They had bought food in there. The lunch, they had bologna, white bread, and some potatoes salad. I said,
White bread.
you expect you want them to eat that? They said, yeah, that's what a nutritionist recommended. I said,
That's
I
what
said,
the
my God.
nutritionist.
I said, look at what's in bologna. Not only the white bread. White bread got 16 different chemicals in it.
Yes.
But I said, go and read that. Just because the nutritionist, I said, you got to fire that nutritionist. Don't tell you it's okay to eat bologna. See, they serve food that's based on the cost of these things.
Yes. Yes.
But at any rate, I know we got to go, but we'll do it again. So, in other words, I thank you so much, and I thank you for your
Thank you, Dr. Dail.
the insight and that's what I'm here for is to get information out, the truth and knowledge that we need so we make better choices and better decisions in our life. If
Yes.
everybody's going to do it, no, not going to happen. God lost a third of the people to Satan, so everybody's not going to do it. You got some people out there who telling others, don't listen to that. Don't listen. My doctor said it's okay to eat pig feet with some chitlin sandwich on the background. Or something. It's okay. Okay, don't do it. You're going to have Satan out there trying to prevent folks from doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And but I'm a living proof. I'm 74 years old, and my body's like 33. And I'm on TV a lot. I go out and do all kinds of things that folk can't do at 16. Okay, so I'm living proof that what I'm doing is right.
Amazing.
And not only that, money is not a problem with me because I haven't seen a medical doctor. I haven't visited one. I've seen one in 40 years. So all that $16,000 a year, guess where it goes?
Right in your pocket. I know that's right.
Right. And then I'm out here running around, having a good old time, enjoying life. And all my friends are dead because they couldn't stop eating it. But at any rate, we thank you so much for putting on this program.
Thank you, sir.
I know some people out there will make some changes and some won't.
Yes.
We know that. And some going to get very angry because we're talking about, especially they're talking, well, fish is healthy for chicken. But we have medical research to back all that up with. Okay? So we're not just throwing something out there.
Right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This will not be your last time on this show, I promise you. And we're going to take it a step further and plan sometime this year or next year to bring you up to New Jersey so we can have a full medical awareness conference. That's the plan because you have so much to offer.
That's what I do around the world.
Yes.
That's exactly what I do around the world because people have to know, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They have to know.
They do.
And they have to know. And there's too much suffering going on. And, it's from joint pain to gout. And gout is 100% animal protein.
It is.
And we got so many, the people got to hear this because they're not going to get that. You go to the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, you get this information. But almost 99% of reproductive cancer, like breast cancer, cervical cancer, prostate cancer, come from dairy.
Yeah.
Milk, cheese, yogurt, ice cream, butter.
All of it.
And so we're out there looking for a cure, folks. We got a cure.
Just stop eating
cancer. Stop eating it. You don't get it. And not only that, if you have the cancer, go back to 1931. Dr. Otto Warburg got the cure for cancer in 1931. It cost about $10 a month. But let the listeners come on. We can talk about that next time. But at any rate,
all right, sir.
We got a cure for everything. The Nobel Prize in Medicine is a cure for everything out there. But your doctor says, no, it's incurable. But you believe your doctor, Nobel Prize in Medicine.
Right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and we got to say goodnight because we got another show coming on the air. But thank you so much, Dr. Dail. And like I said, we'll stay in touch so we can bring you back on. You enjoy your evening. Thank you again for coming on the Freedom Truth Radio Show.
Thank you so much. God bless y'all real good.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You too. All right. That is it. This man is a wealth of knowledge. And if you want, go to his website. I posted everything in the chat room. Go check him out. But we got to go. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in to the Freedom Truth Radio Show. Go to HamiltonRadio.net. Check out the app, Hamilton Radio 4.0, on the App Store, on the Play Store on Google. Check us out. Go to the donate page and hit us up, and so we can get more exclusive guests on our shows. Thank you again for listening. This is the Freedom Truth Radio Show.